Hello and welcome to today's video and another Multichrome Monday. If you're new to my channel, my name is Millie and this is a series I do where I feature different multichromes from all different kinds of brands. I do swatches, swatch comparisons, tutorials, anything and everything that has to do with multichromes. And today I have some very interesting and kind of very exciting multichromes to show you. These are liquid multichromes and they're from Physicians Formula. Literally never thought I would be here on camera talking about Physicians Formula multichrome eyeshadows, but here we are. I'm sure this is just the beginning of what 2022 has in store for us in terms of multichrome eyeshadows. I wouldn't be surprised if we see many more mainstream brands coming out with some sort of multichrome eyeshadow, whether that's liquid, pressed, etc. So there's 4 shades available right now. They're on their website. They weren't on Ulta yet when I checked, but these are $9.99. $10 liquid multichrome eyeshadows. So first I'm just going to show you swatches of these and then I'll show you some swatch comparisons between these and the Twin Flame multichrome eyeshadows from Danessa Myricks as well as Natasha Denona, which the Natasha Denona chromium eyeshadows are actually not available anymore. Now when I first saw this packaging I was like, wow, that looks very similar to the Twin Flame packaging. They are taller but there's only just a little bit more product in them than the Twin Flames. There is 2.8 mLs compared to 2.5 mLs in the Twin Flames. So let's get right into the swatches, some swatch comparisons, and then a demo, and then I'll give you some of my thoughts at the end of the video. Here they are all swatched. I did go back and forth a little bit, but they're not layered in terms of like letting them dry down and layering them. And you can see some of them are a little bit patchy, but I think as long as you're putting them over some sort of a eyeshadow, you're not going to be able to see that at all. And the shifts they're there, but they're not really that strong. And also they're just not that metallic. Lover obviously is not even close to any of these, but True Love is much darker. And also it does dry down to not be so metallic, so kind of similar to Beam of Blue. Ultraviolet is pretty close to Precious Purple. It is much lighter and brighter compared, and the shift is much more obvious and easy to see. But here are the only swatch comparisons between the Twin Flames that I have and the Chromium Liquid Multichromes from Natasha Denona, which those you can only buy a couple of shades at this point because they have completely sold out because they were meant to be limited edition. But you know, usually when Natasha Denona says limited edition, it really means it's going to be available for like at least 2 years. But I think they're finally phasing them out. I wouldn't be surprised if we see more coming out in 2022. I'm going to prime with the Be Perfect eyeshadow primer. I'm going to go in with Juicy in my crease. And I'm using the Blend Bunny brush B5. And just going in with a little bit more. And I'm taking Cutout with that Go Above. And then blend that out above. Go back in with Juicy. Going in with Grunge on the outer corner, using the Blend Bunny B1 brush. Just kind of tapping it on first. Then taking the B2 brush, going in with Grunge under my lower lash line, connecting it with the outer corner. So I'm going to take Precious Purple. It's actually funny that it says purple because it looks kind of pinky in the tube. I guess it's like pinky purple. This is what the doe foot applicator looks like. There's quite a bit of it on the brush. I'm just going to take it. I'm going to put it across my lid. But I'm not going to take it all the way up because I'm going to go in with another shade. Just gonna tap it out. So above that, going in with Bronze Brilliance. I feel like these kind of look very similar. Now that they're both on the lid, I'm gonna go in with a little bit more. I like that you can kind of keep going back and forth without it just wiping off. So now I'm just gonna let it dry. Very important that you let it dry with your eye closed, because otherwise you're just gonna dry it with a crease in it already. So here it is fully dry. I feel like I can feel it just a tiny bit on my lid. It seems to be pretty on there. Like nothing's coming off on my finger. It's not really the most metallic. I think I'm gonna do another coat just because I'm really curious. So I'm going in with the one above. Just a thin layer. I don't really feel like that is adding anything to it. I'm gonna let that dry. Here it is dried down. I think it's a little bit better. I think it just is a little bit more pigmented, and in return, it's a little bit more metallic. So here are the shifts. Onto the second eye, again, priming with the Be Perfect eyeshadow primer. Going in with Alive from the Search palette. I'm just gonna put that right into my crease, about 2/3 way. I'm now going to take it all the way down. I'm gonna go in with a tiny bit more. I'm going in with Covet on the outer corner. It's a very interesting look. I'm just going to speed through this, taking Beckon to help blend this out on the outer corner. I'm gonna go in with a little bit more Covet. Don't really want it to mix in with the green, so just being careful around that. Taking the B2 brush from Blend Bunny and going under my lower lash line. Taking Beam of Blue, I'm gonna put it all over the lid, but not take it all the way. This one seems like there's just a little bit of patchiness going on. What's happening right here, but I could easily go back and cover it. I'm taking Golden Emerald. I'm gonna cut right above. I really like this green one. I'm gonna go above that and just tap out the outer corner. I'm gonna go back in with the other shade and just kind of blend them together a little bit. And going back in with Covet on the outer corner. Smoothing it out, and now I'm gonna let this dry. So I accidentally blinked before it dried, and you can see right here it looks patchy. So I'm actually gonna go in and do a second layer. I do want to point out that even just with one layer, I feel like it's accentuating my skin texture, but I really feel like that's just the nature of these kinds of products because they do fully dry down. And then I'm gonna go back in with this other shade and just let this dry down. So there it is, dry with the second coat. And here's the shifts in the other, and here are the other shifts. So keeping in mind that this was the first time that I used them and I put them on the lid, I have definitely some mixed feelings on them. I think the main con for me is that they're not very shiny and they're not very, like, obviously shifty compared to some of the other multichromes, even just like pressed powder or loose pigment multichromes. That being said, that could be just a very personal preference. Haven't had that experience because I do understand that Physicians Formula is a drugstore brand. So I think the mainstream audience might not necessarily want all that high shine and impact and metallic and sparkly and super, super shifty. Not everyone might be comfortable with that. So I do think that has a lot to do with why these are just not as shiny and sparkly and super shifty as what we're used to if you're familiar with indie makeup brands. Now, these did dry down completely. They seem to be really on there. Like, even if I rub my finger on them, nothing is coming off. Now, I haven't wear tested these yet at the time that I'm filming this, but if I do get to do a wear test, I will definitely insert some footage right after this, or I will leave a pinned comment. Also, would like to just reiterate if this is something that bothers you, but I do see that these accentuated my skin texture just a little bit, even just with one coat. Just anything that is liquid that dries down, it might do that. So that is something to keep in mind, but of course everyone's lids are different. You might not ever have issues like that, but I just wanted to throw it out there. I think for $10 it's worth a try, especially if you're not really familiar with multi-chrome eyeshadows and you want to dip your toes in, but you don't want to quite go and venture out into indie makeup. And also, if these eventually end up, being available in store in CVS or Walgreens or even Ulta, I'm sure there's going to be some coupon codes that you'll be able to use on them, so that will knock down the price even more. So I definitely think they're worth a try, at least just picking up one and seeing what's it about, because the price tag is really good. Now, if you are a indie makeup enthusiast, I definitely would probably say to opt out of these and just go for single eyeshadows. I don't think you need to go and run out and buy all of these or even just one of these. So that's everything for this video. Let me know in the comments below if you've tried these. Are you planning on picking these up? I would love to hear your thoughts. And that's everything for this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you subscribe. There's so much multi-chrome content up already on my channel and much more to come. You don't want to miss out. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.